is a veritable Renaissance man. He is an art historian, a marathon runner, an Academy Award nominated director, and does a bit of acting on the side as well. Please give a very warm welcome to Dr. Peter Weller.
I should be on that side. Yep. Can everybody hear me here or not? I hate those microphones. Yeah. This looks like the Royal Albert Hall. I love you, Peter. Love you back. Who said that? Me. You're in my will. I'm taking off the sunglasses now. So, I feel like this, I could use this. I talk like that. Or would you rather have me talk like this? You like this? Or do you like that? Yeah. Heck with this. Okay. So, look.
The event is being streamed online, so
There's always some tech nerd that comes out, man. You know what you call this in the movie business? Another costly sound delay. What the heck? Okay, it's being streamed. Okay,
Be the new
several
Albert
years
Costello
ago.
now.
What?
You could be the new Albert and Costello now.
Yeah, we could. Okay, so I'm going to use this because it's being streamed online. Oh, shucks. In the old days of the theater, in the theater, now they got microphones everywhere, so they're picking up everybody's, are you guys legit photographers? Are you with the show? Okay, because if you're not, then I have friends in Italy. And you think I'm kidding. I live in Naples, and Naples is the original. But look, now they have microphones everywhere, and they used to not have microphones everywhere. And are you guys just taking fun photographs? Fun, right. And there's my wife and child 5 minutes late. We're supposed to be photographing this. There's my wife, Sherry, and the boss, Teddy. Stand up, stand up, stand up and wave. So now they have microphones everywhere, but in the old days they didn't have microphones everywhere. When I came up in the theater, and I came up as a theater actor in New York, remember the Actors Studio, method guy, there's no microphones here. And nowadays they do. You had to talk like that, and you had to own it. It's the days of Cyril Cusick. You know who that guy is? Siobhan McKenna. You know that? These. Are you knowing these names? Sean O'Casey. Are these people just leaving you? He said Yates. Who Yates? Yeah, that guy, Bill Yates. Yeah. In any case, I got to tell you something really quickly because of the Royal Albert Hall. Just a vignette. My first métier was as a jazz musician. I still play trumpet. He didn't bring that up, but that's what I do. And if it paid the rent, I'd still do that. But I realized I wasn't going to be Miles Davis. I was in an amazing, very tough music school, kind of like the movie Whiplash, if you saw that. I realized I wasn't going to be Miles Davis. I quit, but I still played for fun. The guys I played with went on to become extraordinarily successful as sidemen everywhere. I did a movie in 1981 called Shoot the Moon with Albert Finney, the great Welsh Albert Finney. You know who he is? Tom Jones. You ever see these movies? I mean, he's one of the great English, Irish, Welsh heritage actors ever. And he was doing a play, and I was doing an HBO movie. This has got to be 1990. And Albie takes me to dinner with one of the HBO guys, and we're sitting at this very posh restaurant in London. Some of the musicians I went to school with, Lou Marini, who was on Saturday Night Live, Tom Malone, Randy Brecker, Brecker Brothers, come walking through the door. And I see these jazzers that I knew back in the 60s, right, who were all playing on television. And they go, wow, Peter, hey, oh, wow, Albert Finney, the great Albert Finney. And Finney says, sit down, join us. We're at a big table. So we asked these guys, what are you doing here? And Lou Marini, great tenor player to this day, says, we're doing a concert at the Royal Albert Hall. I went, what? And I said, for what, a jazz thing? He goes, no, with that guy. And through the door walks Eric Clapton. And if you don't know who Eric Clapton is, you have to leave. Okay? Because if you don't know who Eric Clapton is, you shouldn't even be listening to music. So Clapton comes in, and he sits down, and he's a sober guy like me. I don't drink, he doesn't either. He sits down, and he's never met Finney, and they're both icons of Western music and theater and film. They never met. And Clapton invites us he's doing 3 nights at Royal Albert Hall. And he invites me and Finney. And Finney says, I can't come because I'm doing this play. And I said, I can't come because I got to go back to the States. I got a gig. I got to leave tomorrow. So this is on a Thursday night. And he says, well, come and hear a rehearsal. Peter, if you want, I'll leave your name. Okay, so when you go hear rock and roll rehearsals, I don't know if you ever have, they're usually like sound checks. They play like 4 notes of a tune. The lighting guy says, change that to blue. They jump to the next thing. It goes on for about an hour and a half. It's very dreary. It's very boring. You with me on this? So I say, yeah, thanks, Eric. It's what a pleasure to meet you, man. And like Eric Clapton from the Yardbirds, I'm a product of the 60s. I mean, if you talk about Jimi Hendrix or Pete Townsend or Jeff Beck or Clapton, or Jimmy Page, that's a different deal. Mark Knopfler's a different generation, different thing. This is all out of the late 60s guys, not out of the 70s. I ain't talking about Mark. I'm not talking about Metallica. I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about the guys who turned the corner on this. Guitar players, gentlemen. Not then. There's 4 guys I just mentioned. If you got Beck, Jimmy Page, Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, Pete Townsend, you don't have to go much farther because Pink Floyd comes after that. That's after that, guys. How old are you, 12? God. Yes, Prince is astounding. This is astounding. The game changers, people. So Clapton is one of them. I'm jogging the next day, Kensington Gardens, I'm jogging. I see this long line going down the street. I go, wow, what's that about? It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. And I all of a sudden see, it's the Royal Albert Hall. And I go backstage. I said, I wonder if he really did leave my name backstage. I go back, there's a fence, there's a couple of cops there. There's a very tall Afro-American man. He's actually from Jamaica, but he's raised in the States. God bless him, he died in that helicopter crash later on with Stevie Ray Vaughan named Dave. And I said, I think that maybe somebody left my name backstage. And this Bobby says, well, who would that be, sir? I said, I think Eric Clapton. He says, Eric Clapton doesn't leave names backstage. I said, well, okay. And they said, do you have a name, David? And the Jamaican gentleman steps forward. He says, what's your name? I said, Peter Weller. He says, I have one name, and it's yours. In I go, long story short, or long story longer. I sit down. I go up, and there's Greg Fillinganes, who I know from jazz. There's Lou. There's Randy Brecker. There's Tom Malone. They're all there, man. All these guys I know. I pick up a trumpet. I start playing a little bit. I don't see nothing. In walks Eric. Hey, glad you can make it. I have a seat. I don't play. There's no one in Royal Albert Hall. No one. There's 2 guys doing lights under the stage. And when I'm saying no one, there's not a janitor. There's not a room fixer, nothing. So for 2 hours and 40 minutes, and I don't know why he's doing it, except I find out later that he's not played yet with this band and he has to do 3 nights. For 2 hours and 40 minutes, I go from the mezzanine to the front row to the side. Eric Clapton plays every single song he ever wrote for one guy. Moi. And I'm standing about the third tune. I'm standing up at the second mezzanine. I'm hoping there's a janitor will walk in to witness me witnessing it. You know, it's like the only guy who ever saw a constellation or something. Nobody comes in. So I yell up at the top. I say, "White Room." Anybody know that song? Yeah. And Clapton says, "Don't have to yell it. I didn't write that many songs. As a matter of fact, I haven't sung that many songs. We're going to sing them all, so you don't have to ask for anything." And he played it all. And I come back, and he says, "You know, I never played a concert for one person before." And I said, "Well, look, man, Eric, nobody's going to believe me that I sat in Royal Albert Hall for 2 hours and 40 minutes, you know, and listened to this concert for me alone." He said, "Yeah, nobody's going to believe it, but go ahead and say it." And once in a while, in my sextet, Phil and Gaines or Lou will sit in, and I have to say that to a room, and people go, no, you didn't. And then Phil and Gaines will back it up and so forth. Anyway, that's my Royal Albert Hall story. Any questions? You thought I came to talk about how heavy the suit weighs? No, I'm not here to talk about RoboCop.
There's microphones here, and hopefully you have more luck than I do.
Okay,
asking
questions. That's my intro. And raise your hands, folks. The Irish aren't timid. Yes, sir. In the gray shirt. What? Yeah, man. Yeah, I was. Yeah, it was like I was in sweatpants and a sweatshirt. Right, I totally was. Sadly, I want to say that Stevie Ray Vaughan joined that tour in the States, and that's when Stevie Ray Vaughan died, was opening for Eric when they got to Connecticut, and that gentleman from Jamaica went down in that crash with him. It was a sad thing. We lost Stevie Ray. Any other questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Peter.
Hi, what a voice.
Thank you. My question for you is about RoboCop.
Okay, I rarely answer questions about RoboCop, but go ahead.
Okay, how was for you to, as an actor, to film the scene when Murphy dies? This is one of the scenes that really impacted me, and it's one of the most intense and shocking scenes I've ever seen in a film. And I was wondering how it was for you to, as an actor, to work on that.
Okay, so I just answer this really quickly. The effect of a scene on you guys when you're watching a great scene in a movie is not what's going on with the actor. Right? What's going on in the actor is an intention that he's playing. I'm going to get even with this guy. I'm going to kill him. You guys are feeling the residue of the sorrow of the guy getting even with, or the anger of the guy pulling the trigger. That's not what I'm playing. I'm playing I want to kill this guy, or I'm playing I'm trying to defend myself from this guy. So when Kurtwood Smith is shooting off my hand, I'm not going, oh, gee, this is a sad scene. You know, my intention is that I'm going to find you some way, guy, and get even. That's what I'm playing, is intention of vengeance. The fallout of a scene is not what the actor is intending. If the actor is playing for you, he is messing up the scene. How many people here have seen a scene where some guy is crying and you go, enough? If the actor is crying so much, he's not giving you an opportunity to cry. You get that? You don't know what's wrong with it, but you go, this is really overwrought, man. This is like really overcooked. Same thing with music. You know, there's a great composer, he's famous. He does a lot of like science fiction movies in the United States. I'm not going to say his name, but I can't stand his music, man. Because it comes in to tell you now that this is a bad and horrible scene, and you should feel sad. I know when to feel sad. I'm looking at the darn actors, man, in the scene. I don't need your music to slap me in the head. There's not only 40,000 tears coming out of you. to tell me that I should feel sad for you. So that's not what the actor is playing. The two scenes in RoboCop 3, other than that are terrifically, brutally sad. And there's not sadness in a moment of them that's played. And it's Verhoeven and me, and a lot of other people, did the movie because of one thing. When RoboCop goes through his home, do you understand that RoboCop is essentially a tragedy, people? Yeah. That's sad, man. Yeah, the guy says at the end of it, like he's reborn. What's your name, kid? What's your name, son? Murphy. But that's not great. That guy goes through a house, and the only thing that matters to anyone on planet Earth, if he could step out of his own shell for a second, is his family. And he ain't got it. And when walks through that house and kind of has a flash on the kid and a flash on that wife who are long gone, this is a tragedy, people. Then you go, ha, ha, yeah, it's great action, arms get blown off and whatever. No, it's not. It's a sad damn movie. And the thing is, at the end of it, man, the transactional, metaphysical, spiritual deal is taking off that helmet. I can feel them, but I can't remember them. It's tragic. And that's, you know, when I'm acting in that, all I'm playing is the intention of trying to remember them. It's not going, whoa, 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 is this so sad? So if you don't play that sadness, if you just play somebody trying to find something, the audience will be sad. But it's not up to the actor to be sad. Okay?
I heard you call it the best Jesus film ever made.
Yeah. And that's your method lesson for today. Another question. Yeah.
Hi, Peter. I kind of have a double-barrel question for you. So one.
Good luck.
What did he say? Can he speak English?
He said he has a double-barrel question for you.
Double-barrel question.
Double-barrel. So two questions. One, what is the role you played in your long career, whether it's from film or theatre, that you're most proud of? And were you ever offered a role that you turned down that you now regret?
Huh. I don't know, honey. Did I ever turn down a role that I regretted? No, I never did. You know, there was one role that I really wanted that I was up against another guy. It was between me and him. And then I saw him in the movie, and I thought, no, he deserved it, and he was brilliant. And I probably couldn't have brought that game to it, which is John Savage in The Deer Hunter with De Niro and Walken. And Michael Cimino, and I was doing a play with Mike Nichols, a really great play, been nominated for Pulitzer and so forth, called Streamers. Beautiful play, and Cimino had seen me in it. It was between me and John Savage, and then I got the call that John Savage had gotten it. And then I went to the opening of the thing in a black tie only thing in New York, and I saw John Savage's performance, and I thought, oh man, that guy just absolutely killed it. You know, I hats off to John Savage and Walken and De Niro and everybody in that movie, man, and Merrill, because that movie is a one-off. So I can't remember turning down a role that I regretted, but there's a lot of roles. I had a lot of fun. There's a lot of small movies. There's a thing based on Goethe's Faust called Shadow Hours that I did with Balthazar Getty that I love. There's small movies that I've done that are just wonderful. There's Ivan's Ecstasy that I did with Bernard Rose that I got nominated for an Independent Spirit Award for. There's a ton of stuff that small stuff that didn't get the acknowledgement of something as big as RoboCop or Buckaroo that I loved. But I've never really had a bad time in a movie or regret doing a movie. There's a couple of movies that I don't necessarily want to see. Somebody brought one up the other day. I think we got to see it, honey. Somebody brought up this movie I did, and we got to see it. I just never got around to see it, called Decoy. I've never seen it. He said it was pretty good. Was that you that brought it up?
No.
Somebody, okay. No, and I don't want to see it either. Okay. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks. And no one's got an art question about the Ninja Turtles or nothing? Wait a minute. Somebody's got a question. Hang on one second down here. Yes, you in the red cap.
Hey.
I don't know what the funniest movie I did, Teddy, but that's a really good thing. It's funny, I know you for 10 years since you're born, and you never asked me a question that profound before. It's, I know, yeah, it's only you asked me if Predator is scary or I don't want to watch Blade Runner and the internet in this hotel sucks. That's basically what your conversation is. The most fun, I gotta say, that I've had in a film, I mean, that made me laugh, was Buckaroo. Because on Buckaroo, I'm hanging out with your friends. They all send in videos with Mr. Chris Lloyd, Mr. Jeff Goldblum, Mr. John Lithgow, Lewis Smith. And if you hang out with Chris Lloyd for a day, you will laugh until you fold. And if you hang out with Chris Lloyd and John Lithgow in the same room while they're torturing you while eating Doritos, and some guy's got a phony Mussolini accent, and the other guy is going, big bouteille, big bouteille, big bouteille. I was laughing so hard they finally had to ask those two actors to go away, and the AD had to read the lines. I could not get through the scene. If you're hanging out with Jeff Goldblum on any day, you will laugh until you fold. So that movie, acting with those guys, being around those guys, that was maybe the most fun. I laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. I never stopped laughing making that whole film. That was the most fun I ever had. I'm happy to say that they're your friends and they're still my friends, because the best thing you could take away from any experience, as Laurence Olivier said, is love. The paycheck and the kudos are nice, but the friendships are the thing that endure. So, okay, is that good? You good with that? Thank you.
Lady here, I'd be very upset if you ask a RoboCop
I think I
question.
got to bring my son to an audience more often. I'll get more profound. Okay, go ahead. Next.
Hi, Peter.
Hi.
What was your favorite movie you ever made? Like you were acting in?
I think my favorite movies, there's three of them. One of them is Naked Lunch, for sure. That's based on a very famous book. You can't see that yet because you're a little bit too young to not understand it, but you're a little bit too young for the images in it. But you will see it one day. And then there's another one, like the one I mentioned before, Shadow Hours is a good one. And then there's another one, a great Philip K. Dick, he's a great science fiction writer, called Screamers. And it's based on a Philip K. Dick story called The Second Variety. And it's about in the future when planets get divided up like countries and everybody's competing for money on different planets and how that goes down. So I would say Screamers, Shadow Hours, Naked Lunch. RoboCop is a challenging movie, but not my favorite, most fun movie. Challenging and rewarding. But those three movies were my favorites to do, I think. Good question.
I can't believe you just introduced that poor little girl to David Cronenberg movies.
What?
I said, I can't believe you just introduced that poor little girl to
I
David
know.
Cronenberg movies.
But more than that, I've introduced her to William Burroughs, which is really, really, really. Yes, by the way, not for nothing, guys, there's a day. Tell me your name again.
Maisie.
Maisie, right. There was a day in the United States, right around the time that Naked Lunch, the book, came out, that if I was talking to you about this book, they would arrest me. No, they would. And there's a day in this country where they would, because that book was banned. The world said, no, you can't. It's too shocking. It's too much about the future, Maisie. It's too much about the stuff we don't want to know. Now it's considered one of the 10 most important books in the English language in the last 100 years. One of the 10 most important books in the English language. And so they're happy to talk about this guy. But it just goes to show you, Maisie, a lesson about what one period thinks is bad in a certain day and age. Later on, it might not be so bad. It might be good. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you do.
Thanks.
Yeah. I'll give you a case in point. There's a question here. There's a great director and controversial guy named Pier Paolo Pasolini. One of the first guys in the Western literature world had the courage to gender himself. And he was a poet, and he was an essayist, and he was a filmmaker, and whatever. And he made this film, legitimate, wonderful film, called The Gospel According to St. Matthew. Has anybody ever seen this? Yeah, it's brilliant. He used Southern Italian Calabrese because they resembled not Robert Redford, but they resembled the Roman, Armenian, Jewish, Palestinian look. And it's the true, bit by bit, story of the Gospel of St. Matthew. It was condemned by the Catholic Church in 1960. Now it's on their 10 must-see list, people. So why do you think it was condemned? Because the guy was telling a visceral story about Joseph's confusion at hearing about a virgin birth, about Christ's demeanor against the Pharisees and so forth. The guy was telling the gospel. But they didn't look like Hollywood. They wore burlap and leather and skins and ropes with jagged like Rasta hair because they were all from Calabria, North Africa. And man, the papacy, boom, the publicity part of it. Now, 10 movies you have to see. Brilliant movie. Anyway, next. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hi, Peter. Can you hear?
Yeah.
So you did the voice of Batman in The Dark Knight Returns.
Yes.
And I was just wondering, how did you get that role and what was it like doing it?
Somebody offered me a sack of money. And I went to do it. And simple as that. So get it, guys. I have no interest in superheroes or science fiction. Got it? I don't watch science fiction. I don't watch superheroes. Yeah, I would not know Batman from Fat Man. I've never seen one Batman movie. Not one. In spite of the fact that I love Michael Keaton. He chastises me for this. He says, wait a minute, Dad, you haven't seen, Marvel No, I have not. And basically, it's not like I don't have any resistance to it. Somebody sits me down and says, okay, you got to watch Marvel Comics, the Avengers or whatever. He does. I sit down. I go to sleep. I'm out in 10 minutes. So Batman, they said, you want to do the voice of Batman? Frank Miller's a buddy. And it was because it was Frank Miller. I said, yeah. How much money is it? And they said, oh. I said, okay, that's good. How much time? Time versus money. So that's why I did it. I hate to disillusion you. The reason why I did RoboCop was not because of RoboCop, was because of Paul Verhoeven and his brilliance and his movies. The Fourth Man and Spetters, right? This is a guy who makes like small, Soldier of Orange, small, independent stories against an opera of horror behind you. And I knew it would be great because of Verhoeven. So that's why I did that.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yep.
I hope you don't have a Star Trek question or we're in trouble.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Boy, I know. There's all sorts of people in this room going, I'm really let down now. I thought this guy was the sci-fi wonder of the world. Look, these people are leaving, as a matter of fact. These people are so upset with that comment. You don't like Batman? I'm out. Okay, go ahead.
Hello, Peter. Nice to meet you again. But as for my question is, having been in some movies that have almost a weird reflecting look on society, is there a film that you actually consider to be accurate or spot on in the current time frame?
On society?
Yes. Would there be anything that you consider accurate?
My gosh. Accurate about us, as a social commentary?
Yes.
I don't know, man. That's really, the best thing about RoboCop is it's trickle-down things right now that it's applicable right now. The privatization, trickle-down economics. We can privatize all of this. We can take over. Everybody's going to be okay. All that lie. You know, the great news about capitalism is everybody can make a buck. The great lie about capitalism is that the super rich make the money, everybody else will get some of it. That's wrong, right? Everybody's got to be able to make a buck like Venice. It's not just, so that lie, the great thing about RoboCop is that's what makes RoboCop last so long. It's not the action and the humor. It's the story of rebirth and the lies that a society will tell in order to control. That's what makes RoboCop resonant today. There are great Bergman movies. Persona, anybody ever seen that? No, probably no one in this room. Two women on an island, a shrink and an actress. You want to see the greatest feminist personal movie ever? Yeah, that's that. I just watched maybe the most beautiful thing I've seen in years. My wife and I watched My Brilliant Friend, about those two girls growing up in Naples. If you haven't seen that on HBO or Sky TV Max or anything like that. 4 books. Elena Ferrante, she's probably going to win the Nobel Prize. They've shot 3 of the books. It's 2 girls growing up from the age of 5 all the way to 65 in a modern day. It's not about girls, it's not about women, it's about all of us. How do you beat the bounce between the street, your family, and school when you're a kid? How do you find your way out of that if you want to do something else? It's tough, man. Isn't it? You got your parents telling you one thing, you had the school telling you another thing, you got a street demanding something else of you. How do you go, gee, I want to go right like Yates? You don't. You got to scramble to find that, man. How are you going to be Sean O'Casey? Look what he went through just to write a play. You know, so you've got to see My Brilliant Friend. That's about now. That's truly about man, woman, child, any of us trying to find our way in a modern world when essentially circumstances are telling you, you ain't going to make it. Go see it. It's great. They just did the third season, the 3rd book. They're shooting the 4th one now. My Brilliant Friend, that's what it's called in English. What's it called in Italian, honey? God, you're good looking. She said, this is my better side.
Do you get a word in at home, by the way?
Do I get what?
Ask your wife.
Did she get a word in?
Yeah.
You know, I just said this to the green room right now. There's a great playwright, Tennessee Williams. Anybody not heard of him? Everybody heard of him? Yeah, Streetcar Named Desire and on, Cat in the Haunted Room. Maybe in the United States, one of the great playwrights ever. He wrote a play called Orpheus Descending about a musician trying to find life in a new world. It's all in the South Louisiana Bayou. The movie version of it is with Anna Magnani and Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando, arguably the most powerful actor I've ever seen on screen, and according to Olivier, maybe the most powerful ever. Anyway, Brando says in the middle of this movie, and all deference to you, honey, ready for this, guys? And if you're over 30, and by the way, Tennessee Williams was gendered, you know, same sex. He based all of his female characters off his wife and his mother. Got that? But in the movie, in the play, he says this, and if any of you guys are over 40 and you don't understand it, I pity you. Brando says this, a woman can burn a man down. A man can't burn a woman down. You get that, right? Every woman gets it, man. And I see a couple of guys going like, down here in the front row, they're going, I didn't think I wanted to hear that.
My girlfriend's nodding her head there, which I'm very worried about.
I know. So I got to go ask my friend Bob Chambers, who's an English department teacher. I said, I'm 18 years old. The second time I see this movie, I go, wait a minute. A woman can burn a man down. A man can't burn a woman down. What are they talking about? Like heartbreak. And Bob, who's schooled in the Greeks, and he's schooled in myth, and he's schooled in all of the temperate things. I was just talking with Dominique, you know, in the green room about, and Bob says, no, this is not about heartbreak, Peter. It's not about like, yeah, it's about like you got to go get up and go ask in a modern world in the West. I got to go ask Sherry, if I don't know her, would you like to have a Dr. Pepper with me? And the second I say, you want to have a Dr. Pepper with me, in that second, she can go, metaphorically, are you kidding, you dork? Vatene, which is Latin for get out of here. Or yeah, right? So that's a second burn down. But what he's talking about is like beyond that. In the systemic of energy in the universe, yin is resilient. Like George Carlin said about the earth. We're not going to destroy the earth. We'll destroy each other. But Mama Earth, man, she going to live. Because it's a woman. And it's not just a woman. It's yin. It's receptive. It's creative. And it's an energy that's always coming back. Men, boom. And there's a great Greek myth that says the only reason why men create war is to stop women from laughing at us. Because you can ask a teenage girl, 14 years old, if she sees Mr. Hottie, hey, you think the guy's hot? Yes. Are you giggling about his posing? Yeah, we're all giggling. And you know, every woman in this say, you're giggling. You know what? Yeah, I'm Mr. Yeah. You think it's cute and maybe sexy for a second, but you're giggling. And the thing is that what the Greeks said, that men, in their absolute incapacity to understand resilience, will kill each other. And women will stop laughing because they see too many husbands and sons die. Because they know that somewhere in their fragility, men do, that they can burn us down that fast. Is anybody running on this, man?
Yeah.
Again, there's a whole lot of guys don't want to hear this, but too bad. Next.
Hi.
Did you understand it? Are you getting any of this?
I am, and
there
I would
will
be
a pop quiz.
terrified to be in your class in Syracuse.
There will be a pop quiz at the end. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi. So yesterday you asked me and my family to come back to you and explain Buckaroo Banzai and what it's about. The best guess we've come up with is that it's like being put in the middle
Listen,
of
everybody listening, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Nobody in Buckaroo Banzai knows what it's about. We don't know. We've asked each other, what's this movie about? He has the answer. We're now going to get it. So everybody taking notes?
I should stress, this was a cross-country discussion last night, since you asked that question, between England and Ireland and America and all that. The best theory we've come up with is it's like being put in the middle of a comic book series, like number 49 or whatever, and just not telling you what you missed. But my question is, what you kind of answered it there anyway.
Okay, stop right there. Yeah? Stop. Buckaroo Banzai was just admitted to the Lincoln Center archive of 100 films. Oh. We all put on tuxedos. We went. Kevin Smith, the guy who wrote Clerks and so forth, introduced it in a jersey, and he said this: the best thing about Buckaroo Banzai is that it plunks you in the middle of a genre, and you don't know what the genre is. You don't know if it's action, science fiction, or comedy. And it doesn't force feed you or spoon feed you anything. It just throws you in the middle of it. So go on from there. I get that.
Yeah.
But that's not what it's about yet. You're just telling me circumstances.
Yeah. Well, my question is then, as an actor, did you make any personal decisions about what you thought it was about, even if the writers and all that didn't explain it to you?
I kind of had an instinct, but as a movie, I don't know what it's about. But I was playing golf with the great actor Dennis Haysbert. Black American actor, really amazing actor, and it's his favorite film. And I said, okay, Dennis, nobody knows what the movie's about. He says, you don't? I said, no, we don't. And he says, it's about love. That's the theme of it. It's about love. That's what it is. And you've got the social distinctions between redneck, aliens and Rasta aliens and confusion and so forth. And that's what he says it's about. But he's right, I think. But I didn't know it was about love when I was making it. While I was making it, I was keep going like, I am laughing so hard with these guys. These guys are just the bomb. I love doing this movie. I have no idea what it is. I have no idea what it is. But I appreciate that.
That's very sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, big fan. I just had a quick question.
Thank you.
So I heard you're a doctor, Dr. Peter Weller, yeah?
That's right. Hey, by the way, it's not honorary. I'll say it again. I'm not some orange juice head from Malibu who floated in here to act like a movie star with you guys?
Well, I was actually going to ask. I have a rash on my leg. Is there any chance? would
What did you
you be able to have a look at it after this?
Oh yeah, I have a rash on your leg.
Oh, you have a rash
I have a
on my leg.
sweatshirt. I have a sweatshirt that says, "I'm not that kind of doctor."
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I just get really mixed up. I actually, to be honest with you, like,
Wow, you got any meds?
I'm from Kimmage, right? So
Right.
Kimmage is like, it's kind of far away from here, right? It's like the edge of the universe, the known universe at least. I got fired the other day, right? I was working in a hotel. I went in. I'm a janitor in a hotel. I won't name the hotel, but I could. There was a massive bottle of hand sanitizer, and I accidentally banged into it, and the alcohol, it went all over me, and I just stunk of alcohol, and the HR thought I was drinking, so they fired me. I was too embarrassed to tell them what actually happened, so I'm happy to be here. And so what I want to say to you, all in all, I just want to ask you, what was it like being RoboCop? What?
Is this a limerick?
What? No. I just wanted to ask you, like, I mean, I just wanted to set up the scene because I wanted to ask you, do you like being RoboCop?
I'm putting on my Trinity College cap right here, and I'm looking for like the spiritual guidance from the Book of Kells. Give me some sort of fortitude to answer this blithering question. Yeah, I do. That's the answer. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. I love you.
I love you back.
Okay. Thanks.
Now, wait a minute. Go ahead. Hi.
Hi. So I have 2 questions for you. So what's your favorite and least favorite thing about being an actor?
What's your name? Dawn?
Kate-Ann.
Kate?
Kate-Ann.
How do you spell that?
Katieann.
Kate-Ann. What's my favorite thing about being an actor?
And your least favorite?
My favorite and least favorite. Okay. My favorite thing, Kate-Ann, is that I get to interpret literature. I get to take the written word and yell out like that kid right there. That's what I get to do. I get to take somebody's great writing, and if I can do my best, turn it into an emotional event. So to entertain you, that's the best thing I like about it. It's an entertainment. And the least thing I like about it is, there's a great existential play called No Exit. Okay? And in it, there's a line that says, hell is other people. And it doesn't mean that everybody else is hell. It just means that being around other people, sometimes you see how bad you are because people will reflect your inadequacies. And so many times it's not. When you're acting and you're with these other people, you see your own insecurities, you see your own fallibilities, you see your own mistakes. And so that's the worst thing I had about it. But finally, when you leave, it's a good thing. Because, you know, some people say, I hate being in this class because I don't like, you know, sometimes my son Teddy says, you know, so-and-so and so-and-so I don't like because they're like this. Everybody can say, I don't like this because like that. When you're in a movie set, you're with 187 or 287 different people, plus about 20 people acting with you. And you're bouncing yourself off of them constantly. And it's almost like a prison. So, and you're getting your own behavior back at you all the time. And sometimes you don't like it. So that's probably the most difficult thing about it. And the thing I don't is that you're not alone. And subsequently, you have to be responsible for your own behavior with other people. And that's very difficult to do. And I have to tell you the truth. I'd much rather be alone sitting on a piazza with a cigar and a cappuccino looking at the sea sometimes. So that's what's difficult. Being with other people.
Okay, thank you.
Poor Maisie has gone home to watch Crash, and now Kay-Ann's gone home to tell her parents hell is other people.
It's tough, ain't it?
Oh, hi, Peter.
Is that red hair?
No, it's pink.
It's pink, okay. My wife Sherry's Irish descent. There's a woman today that came along. She had this beautiful red hair. And Sherry said, you know, or being in Ireland, which is famous for its red hair, I don't see many people with red hair. But when you do see someone in Ireland with red hair, the hair is really red. I mean, like, shocking red. Whereas in the United States, you see red hair and you think, I'm sorry, but your hair is pink, right? You see red hair and it's kind of like, is that really red hair or not red hair? Is it diet or whatever? Here, it's the real deal. Go ahead.
Well, this is not a question from me. It's a question from my friend. His name's Brian. He's a massive fan of you.
He's what? Where is he?
At home, I'm pretty sure he's working at the moment, but he asked me to come to ask you this question.
He sent you?
Yeah, he sent me the one and only.
Is it a guy?
Yeah, it's a guy.
Do you get this thing about a woman can burn a man down or not?
He's older than me. I'm 10 times younger than him.
Can you please go and ask? I gotta. Yeah, okay.
Well, his question is, how did you find it working with Irvin Kershner in RoboCop 2?
That's his only question?
That's his only question.
How did I like Irvin Kershner? You know, I liked Irv, and he's a very talented guy, and God bless him, he's gone. But the problem with RoboCop 2, I mean, this is a problem in retrospect, but it's a problem I noticed going in. Like we were talking about before with one of the young guys that came up. Every movie and story, people have a theme. When you're reading a script or a play or a poem or a story or a book, ask yourself, what is the theme? Not what the plot is, right? Not what the story is. Ask yourself, what is this about? And usually, as Dostoevsky said, you can answer it with one word. This is about redemption. This is about vengeance. Right? This is about rebirth. This is about recovery. It's something like that, right? So, Irv, when he's doing RoboCop 2, RoboCop 1, because of Verhoeven, is about rebirth. And somebody could say it's about the rebirth, it's a Christian ethic. Somebody could say it's a Pharisee, Jewish ethic, because the Pharisees believed in rebirth. Egyptians believed in rebirth. Mythically, everybody, or religiously, there's a culture everywhere that believed in rebirth. And every great story is about rebirth. Every great story is about somebody losing it and recovering it. Got me? This ain't my idea, babe. It goes back to Aristotle. So don't blame it on me. So when we got RoboCop 2, what I'm noticing at that, there's no Act 3. Yeah, I beat the bad machine. Is there a recovery in it? Is there a rebirth in it? Is there a reassimilation? Do I get the old man? Is there some sort of completion, closure? No. And that's what Irv Kershner did not have in that film. And so subsequently, I had a great time with him. But all along, I'm asking, you know, there's no third act to this movie. And I'm not a genius at it, but I've done enough movies to know if you ain't got a third act. See, in RoboCop 1, beating Kurtwood Smith is not the end of the movie. You know, the third act is Ronnie Cox. The third act is being Murphy in front of that old man. That's the third act. RoboCop 2 didn't have it. And I could not convince Irv of it. So I was frustrated with Irv. But I loved him as a human being. I loved him as a director. But I was frustrated with the story. And not like, wah. You know, I just said, hey, guys, you don't really have a third act. And at the end of the movie, great, one of the producers came up and said, you know what? When we started this thing, you were right. We don't have a third act. We never did. And you're right. You defeat the bad guy, but so what? Is there a recovery? Is there a regeneration? Is there something? No, there's not. And that's what RoboCop 2 misses, despite the fact that it's got some beautiful scenes in it, thanks to Irv. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're
Ryan
welcome.
owes you huge. Unfortunately, we've only just got time for one more question. If you just, best of luck, make it a good
Oh, you
one.
got, how many people you got there? You got 3? I'm going to do all 3 of you guys. So make it quick.
Okay.
Is that a gun you got, man?
It's a fake gun, I promise.
Even fake guns weird me, man. I'm from West Texas, where I grew up with guns, and we had a gun problem in the United States. So you're carrying that around now, I would suggest don't do it. Don't carry fake guns anywhere, people.
It's a comic convention.
It doesn't matter. This is where people all of a sudden get blasted, bro.
Don't argue with him. Come on.
Oh, sorry. Which recall.
Okay.
But no, the question I had was
ahead.
in RoboCop. There's an anecdote from the actor who plays Bob Morton, where he says that you had tried to sort of method act as RoboCop in costume off screen, and says how he'd made a little bit of a joke about it. But my broader question is, where do you think method acting is useful, and when do you think method acting can be taken too far?
That's a really good question. Method acting is essentially the application of your own personal experience to a particular role or intention or play. And it comes about because of, here's a quick lesson for you guys. Before the Russians, and you can read till the cows come home. Is it the fascination with the Odyssey instead of the Iliad? Is it the machine gun? Speaking of guns, is it gas warfare? Is it World War I? Is it end of the Habsburgs? The end of empires? Is it the Industrial Revolution? We don't know what it is. But for some reason, the Russians, before us, with their revolution, get hold of the idea of theater as not just entertainment, presentational entertainment. Theater becomes a representational, relationship-driven deal by guys like Chekhov, Turgenev, goes on and on from there, right? Once it's about relationships and it's no longer about just presentation, it's no longer about soap opera, right? And it now becomes about, wow, you're peering at Ibsen, all these guys at the turn of the century. Then the method, the idea of transporting how Peter Weller feels about this guy, right, in this character, is the method. The method is the way you do it. And everybody's got their own. If you're talking as a director to an actor more than 5 seconds, I used to love to talk to actors, more than 5 seconds, you are taking the event, the instinct, the music of this actor and putting it in his head. And you're taking it out of his heart. And you can't act from your head. So the method all of a sudden becomes intellectual. Gee, I got to analyze everything. But if you're not instinctively playing jazz, then you're in your head. And that's where the method goes wrong. Too much thought. Too much intellectualization. Antithetical to what the method was. How do I relate to this guy? Not what am I thinking about how I relate to this guy, but how do I relate to this guy? You follow me?
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, Peter. Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. And you?
Good.
Just a quick question. What was the most exciting work or project that you had that you would wake up in the morning and you feel like, okay, this is really awesome. I'm really having a great time doing this.
Anything or just film?
Anything in general.
When she said she was pregnant, when I woke up to that, and then when he was born. And, that's corny, and if you don't have kids, you go, oh, please. Can't you tell us something? But who's got kids out there? Just raise your hand, you have kids. Yeah. What's more important than that? What house can you own or car or vacation or whatever can compare to that hug? Nothing. So a real simple thing, that's a game changer. And I never got married till I was 59. And people showed me pictures of the kids. It's like showing me pictures of their dog. Now really I got to watch Bob and Lucy roll in the grass. Oh, this is where we were in Jamaica, And I like, yeah, really, nice salad. Can I go now? Then you have a kid, and you do nothing but look at people's kids. And I see people roll up to the booth with kids, man. I just want to, like, hug on the kids. So that's the most important thing. That's the greatest joy I ever woke up to. Greatest joy I ever woke up to. I mean, we've had some fun, and we traveled around the world. We definitely woken up to some unbelievable places. But when she came in, I was smoking a cigar with a friend, and she came in with a bun in an oven. And she put it down in front of me, and I started crying. And then when I held him, the guy went like, here he is. Who held your baby? What man in here was given the baby to hold? And tell me the truth. You had no clue what to do. Tell me the truth, right? You just go, ha, 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 ha. No, somebody help, help, help. Okay, and here's the funny thing. Here's the real joy. Here's the kicker of that. Somebody bought us as a gift a night nurse. That's a new deal. Anybody know what a night nurse is? Yeah. So they cost a lot of money because they're a real nurse. And they're up all night with an infant. And they either give the infant the bottle or give it to the mom, the nurse, and the mom can sleep, right? And it's a lot of loot because it's all night long for 2 weeks. I don't know what that cost, right? And my mother-in-law was there, the grandma was there. And then came the day, 3 weeks in to his life, where the night nurse said, bye. And then the grandma said, bye. And we looked at each other like, what do we do now? Because all we're getting is, and that's frightening, man. I mean, that is just like, that's terrifying.
A big
and
challenge.
Beautiful. Great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for that question, by the way. And there's not been one art history question the whole time. And it's 5 after 3. You haven't even asked about the Ninja Turtles.
Yep. Last question of the day. If you've got any art history in your
I think I'm going to tell you something.
Now's the time.
Then I'm going to tell you something you're going to go away with, okay? And next time you look at any Marvel comic, hang on a second, you. What's up?
About those Ninja Turtles, I'm just wondering, what was that got you into acting anyway, Peter?
What got me into what?
What was it that made you want to act? And do you think you'll ever retire, or are you just going to?
No, I'm not
keep
retiring.
carrying on, or
Do I remotely resemble anybody who's retiring?
Thankfully, no.
No. I retire when I'm dead, when I fall down. That's it. I'm not retiring. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying up. I'm doing academics and movies and theater and jazz until I go to the dirt farm. Thank you, God. That's it. But what made me get into it? I was doing it for fun. I realized I wasn't going to be Miles Davis. I was in music school. Had to stay out of Vietnam. What can I do? Okay, I can act. I've been doing it. So I acted to stay out of Vietnam, and then I realized I was going to be an actor. Something happened to me. Something happened to me. I was in the theater. Okay, I got to get out. Degree in English, music, drama, and all of a sudden, oh no, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to apply for the scholarship to New York. I'm going to go. And I didn't have a plan B. I did not have a plan B. Here's a lesson to all you kids out there. You got your eyes on something to do, don't have a plan B. That's it. Find out what you really want to do and do that, period. And it doesn't work out, I think I'll go home and teach or bake. No, there's no plan B. You do it until you die. That's it. So there's no retirement for me. Ain't retiring.
Peter, unfortunately, we are out of time. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Wait,
ladies and gentlemen, Peter Weller.
Wait. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Next time you watch a Marvel movie, just know this, that the academic idea of the perfect form comes from classical Greece. It's called ethos, a guy standing like this perfectly. That's called ethos. Pergamum is a place in Western Turkey. For some reason, we don't know why. They're going to open up the museum in Berlin in 2025. They start to twist the body and have fights. And they do Nike and the Titans and everybody twisting it. Michelangelo sees this. The Lao Kuan twisting with serpents eating him. He starts to do the Sistine Chapel. He does the creation of Adam, twisting bodies. Michelangelo gets it from Pergamum. Pergamum is part of Western Turkey, gets it from the Greeks. The body twists in space. That all delivers the action movie, people. The action movie is delivered by Pergamum. The first place to do people dying, spinning, intortion, movement, action. Before that, it's all ethos. Pergamum turns it into pathos. And then you get Spider-Man. And you get RoboCop. Got it? Thank you. What do you want to ask me?